Let's go to number 12. This is Jasmine Gage. Can I keep listening to Bethel's music given the intent, as far as I understand, to invoke emotional responses? I want to avoid the idol of emotional highs, but still see value in their music. Jasmine, let me share with you my thoughts on this. My short answer is yes, you can. But, right? But I would encourage you to do this with wisdom. So one of the things with Bethel is there's concern that a lot of us would have with the some of the strange teachings that have gone on in the church and the response to those teachings. It's when Bethel finally does speak out about the weird teachings, they don't really deal with it fairly and openly. It's more like they're just doing, to be honest, it feels like they're doing damage control, and they're just kind of like trying to create space so people will stop arguing about it and not really actually create a lot of clarity. I think there's a problem there. Bethel's music is used as a bridge to promote that teaching. That's the concern with the music that I have for the most part. It's used as a bridge, right? To increase the teaching. I mean, think of Hillsong. Hillsong became famous, and then finally their teachers widely known and people listening to them on the back of the music that was super popular. And Bethel's doing the same thing. So that's a concern. But does that mean the music itself, like that's an implication, that the music itself is all bad? And the answer I have here is absolutely not. Some of the Bethel songs, you guys are going to not be happy with me for saying this. Some of you aren't. But if you just go and read the lyrics of the Bethel songs, some of them are great. Fantastic. I'm like, that's a really good song. And do you have to like find the guy that wrote it or the label that it's carried on and then say, I can't enjoy this, I can't use this because of its associations? And that's where I'm going to say, I'm not going to put that requirement on the body of Christ around the world, okay? If you have reasons why you think you should do that, go ahead. And if you don't, that's up to you. Like, I'm not going to make that decision for everybody. I'm going to be more libertarian on that issue. Some of the guys in Bethel, Bethel allows, listen to this, Bethel allows for a lot of theological disagreement within their camp, which means that there's going to be people who have theology a lot more like mine than they do like Bill Johnson's, and they're still in the Bethel camp because as long as they don't make waves, nobody cares. That's just the way they are. And I'm going to realize that and say, I'm not going to cut off every believer in that camp or associated with that record label, that music label, because of the mere association. Instead, I'm going to let it be a little more complicated and say, if you want to take it song per song, go for it. Now, some of the songs are weird, and that needs to be acknowledged and dealt with, but others are just wonderful. There's a variety there. If the association with Bethel bothers you, don't use their music. If you feel like you can overcome it, fine. If you want to put your music in front of others, if you want to use it for worship in your church, now you have to ask another question. Not how it affects me, not am I okay with it, how is it affecting my congregation, how is it affecting my people, what impact is it having on them? If I play Bethel songs, am I creating a bridge for my church people, my body and brothers and sisters that are here, a bridge for them to the teachings that I have problems with? And if the answer is yes, then you shouldn't do it. If, am I bringing these songs to them where I know that my body is divided on Bethel and they're just going to argue and bicker about the worship songs? Well, then don't do it. Like, why would I create these problems for my local fellowship instead of worship being a pure and wonderful time? Those are some of my thoughts on that, Jasmine. I hope